Hans van der Weerd is part of the International Rescue Committee that's supporting families of Ukraine through reading. Hans, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's tell us a little bit of how the effort started, and especially helping the Ukrainian children.
Well, as you know, 2 years after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the situation in Ukraine is still very grim. We have more than 14 million people in need of humanitarian assistance, 3 million of which who are children. We have 10 million people that have been displaced from their homes and that had to flee to neighboring countries such as Poland, Moldova, other parts of the EU. Ukraine's economy is in disarray. There is a shortage of everything. And so the situation in Ukraine is really grim. And often in these situations, it's children that bear the brunt of the violence and the suffering. So with HarperCollins, with the creative arts agency, we decided to put our heads together and figure out, what could be a good project to help kids still get education, but also help kids get out of the harsh day-to-day reality. And that's how the book project was born.
I mean, especially too, when you think of, it's a long time for an adult, but as far as education goes, especially these kids that are, getting these books and the ebooks, ages 5 through 18, 2 years is a big dent in your education.
Yeah, it is a big dent in the education. I mean, 40% of Ukraine's school have been destroyed. 1 out of 2 Ukrainian children hasn't been able to go to school. And then also of the children that are displaced, many of the children have difficulties, accessing education in new school systems. So the books in their own language and having the ability to read really is very impactful.
Let's go through a couple of the titles. Builder Brothers, Builder Plans, which is Drew and Jonathan Scott of HDTV. I've Loved You Since Forever, and You Are My Happy from Hoda from the Today Show. We also have Read All About It from Mrs. Laura Bush and her daughter Jenna Bush. And then we have Shady Baby by Gabrielle Union and Chicago's own Dwyane Wade. Just to name a few of the titles.
Yeah, they're exciting titles. They're all best-selling books. And we think that they're great books for the kids to read. And the reality, once we've distributed the books, we distributed about 700 now to kids. Their reaction has been just like that. They've been enthusiastic. They've been laughing. They went right into it. So it's a wonderful project.
And I know some of the kids in London have already started to receive them. As far as the books starting to roll out, give us a little bit about that.
Well, the kids immediately start reading. They start talking to their teacher or their parents about it. Some kids you don't hear for the rest of the afternoon anymore, immersed as they are by the stories. Others want to exchange, the title with their friends. The level of joy and energy that the distribution has created is just, it's just a delight to watch. And
especially too, I think when you go into any type of conflict or any type of uncertainty, you have that one project, whether it's a book or a movie or someone that you talk to before you go to sleep, that brings you some kind of comfort. And being able to read something in their own language, I can only imagine is bringing these kids so much comfort.
Yeah, one of the kids actually, said it much better than I ever could, but said, reading this book allows me to be somewhere and anywhere at the same time. And I thought that was a wonderful quote that speaks to exactly what you were just mentioning.
Of course, people want to be able to help. Tell us a little bit about, maybe a website that people can go to, as far as maybe either giving, monetary donations or seeing how they can, bring awareness to their own part of their city.
Yeah, so this wonderful project has a website. You can go to that website on rescue.org/books4Ukraine. And I think learning about the project and learning about Ukrainian kids, I think is absolutely a thing that people can do. But donating to the crisis in Ukraine so that we can support more children in Ukraine, but also in other countries, I think is really a necessary thing to do as well. And then last but not least, we have about 29 offices in the United States. that are always looking for volunteers to support newcomers as they integrate in this country. There are about 176,000 Ukrainians that have come to the US as well since the war. And so any volunteering help is also much appreciated. So many ways to engage.
Wonderful. Hans, thank you so much for your time today. Again, rescue.org/books for Ukraine is where you can go ahead and find more information. And thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.